No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
Hey everybody, welcome to About to Break. I'm your host Taylor Hughes, and right now I'm sitting in a shed in my backyard with Jonathan Burns.
Hey everybody.
Dude, thanks for doing it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
We were just talking about that. I should have just recorded. I didn't want to do that LA thing where you're like, let's save it for the podcast.
Yeah, yes, save it for the pod. Yeah. No, we've I feel like Facebook has suggested we be friends for years.
Yeah. And then we finally,
and this is it. This is happening. Mark Zuckerberg will be happy finally.
You will be. That was his only goal, I think, was starting the company, was that we would connect.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The Facebook is working.
Well, it's a weird world that we live in. Like it's large and simultaneously very small, and then Facebook has made it really small because you see everything everyone's doing.
Yeah, or I'll meet somebody and add them on Facebook, and they're like, "You have 300 mutual friends."
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh wow,
we know all the same people. How have we not met?
We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
or a lot of people to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. We don't even need to talk about us,
right? And you are from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so I'm like in Amish Country.
I was gonna say that is Amish Country.
It is. So, but I'm out here for the week doing LA stuff and trying to visit show business because not a lot of show business happens at home.
Well, but you've always lived in Lancaster?
I grew up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, another small Pennsylvania town near Pittsburgh, but I went to school near Lancaster, and I really love it. A lot of people know it for Amish, but it's a pretty cool town. There's lots going on. We have a small downtown area, but it's been there's a lot of arts involved in the downtown, and there's great restaurants, and you can get local farm fresh things. Like it's kind of a cool hip town, and it's I feel like it's up and coming.
Does it have like a small town, like everybody knows your name kind of vibe to it?
You do know a lot of people, but it's also spread out too. Yeah. Some people know me because they've seen me do shows, or and my wife's a teacher, so we know a lot of people through that. And
very
so,
cool.
It's kind of funny. We have like these different groups of people who know us for different things. Some people are like, "Oh, you're the toilet seat guy," and another one's like, "Oh, you taught me first grade. You taught me how to read." So we're kind of all over the map there.
Well, you're kind of breaking the mold because you say you're going to come here and visit show business stuff, but like you've done all the things that everybody here is trying to do. It seems like. I mean, you've been on Fool Us and AGT, a couple different like Got Talent shows you've done, right?
Yeah, I did Francis Got Talent too, and so it's kind of been neat to be able to do that because most of them, like I think for you too, most of the work's on the road, so it's kind of nice to have a home base where I'm kind of disconnected from a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can go out and do my thing and then come back and just be a dad and afford stuff.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's why we live in this area right now.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so excited when I heard you were going to be one city over for NACA. And I'm like, dude.
Perfect. Yeah.
Come to the shed.
Yes.
I built a podcast studio that hardly no one comes to because everyone's like, yeah, I'm not driving.
If you're ever through Ontario,
if you're ever in the magic land of Upland,
yeah, nice. No, it was great when you told me you gave me your address. It was like 9 minutes from my hotel.
Isn't that crazy?
Convenience. So I'll do your podcast.
Did you fly into Ontario Airport, or did you fly into LA?
I flew into LA because I did some other shows this week.
Yeah.
So I was kind of around doing that earlier in the week, and then came here for NACA, and so hopefully leaving with some shows too.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
You've done NACA for a while now?
I have. So I started right out of college myself. I didn't know how to get an agent, so I just started my own agency. Came up with a name? Yeah, I did. I just started Big Name Entertainment out of my college dorm room. So I had like roommates in college who would have to answer the phone, Big Name Entertainment, stuff like that, even though it was just two of us. Like,
what a great name though, because immediately when you said it, I was like, wow, you're signed to Big Name?
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing, you know. So that's Big Name Entertainment started out of that. I took a loan from my grandmother, started doing NACAs, and didn't know what I was doing, but
and you took a loan because people don't know it costs money to do these things.
It's expensive, so to go there, and then with the prospect of maybe leaving with nothing, and there was a few years of just making my money back, which was you know booking one or two shows.
Was Grandma pretty nice about the loan, or was she kind of she
never said anything to me, but my mom would hear about it.
I'll sell you a couple payments.
Grandma's
like a loan shark.
mom's gonna come bust your kneecaps if you don't pay up. She was cool about it though. It was good. Yeah. So, but eventually I started doing it more, learned a lot about the market, and became better known in it. And I've done over 500 campuses like all over the country.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a neat. It's a lot of people think it is. College students it's going to be like Animal House where they're crazy and they want real raunchy and and it's not quite that anymore. A lot of people come to these shows want an alternative to like the crazy parties or whatever else, and very often they want you to be clean, and so that was like a learning curve too. But being that age when I first started, I kind of was in the same mindset as these students.
You're like, oh, I get it,
and you sort of don't know yourself yet. I mean, you're still like you're freshmen and you're like, I gotta figure out how to do my own laundry, and like you're just trying to learn who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's sort of like that step between boyhood and manhood, like for or womanhood or whatever, So I feel like it's kind of an interesting age, but it can be really fun if you know how to interact with them.
And it probably, it's got to vary from school to school based on like the vibe of the campus or what people are studying or.
For sure. So yeah, some campuses you'll go to like in Vermont and no one has shoes on and they're all like, dreadlock, white guys with dreadlocks. And,
just hacky sack just everywhere.
Yeah. And then you'll go to others, like I've performed at RIT, which is like, people are going to be like rocket scientists and stuff. And you're like, it's like a whole different thing. And actually a school in Arizona there was like, I asked, what's your major? He's like, rocket science. And you're like, oh my God. Wow.
And, He's like, what do you do? And you're like,
I bet they're a toilet seat for a living. Yeah. So, it's not rocket science, but, it's important. It's very important.
It is important, man. Yeah. I think it's especially important for people who are studying rocket science because, you get in these situations where it's like so high pressure. Yeah. And you need a release and you need an outlet.
And that's kind of what we do on camp. Like when I come to a campus, it's like that. So I've done a lot of colleges, but I've the last few years I've kind of been trying to explore other things. And, but this year I got a number of showcases, which was nice. And,
that's cool.
So I got to do my thing and people watch me and hopefully they bring me to their campus.
Yeah, it has all the TV credits have to help with that, right?
I think that was a big part of it. I just did AGT and kind of my audition was a big splash for that. Yeah. So that was a part of my video and I think people saw it, which was nice. And, they asked me to do these. So that's good. Yeah. It's, I did four showcases this year, which is more than I've ever done in one.
Because they're regional, right?
Yeah, so I
loosely know about NACA from friends that have done it, but I've never done it. So
there's regional ones. So in the fall, there's 6 regionals. Okay. There's South, Central, Mid Atlantic, Mid America, and West, I think. And then in the spring, they do a national one that can be kind of anywhere. People come from all over. It's sort of bigger. I think they'll get sometimes bigger name acts. Not from Big Name Entertainment, but they bring them in, and it's kind of a bigger like conference, and then they do another regional one in Northern Plains, which is kind of all that Pacific Northwest and Minnesota and all that kind of area.
And is it? Have you always done pretty well, or do you have some where you're like, well, you don't call Grandma again?
Yeah, no. For the first few years, it was just like I gotta figure this out, because it was just sort of making my money back on the investment. But I was lucky that I started when I was 22 or whatever, because I didn't need that much and I didn't have that much, so my nut was much smaller,
right?
So I was able to kind of struggle through it for a few years, and then once I figured it out, then it got better, and it changed my life, just making a better living doing what I wanted to do. And I was touring with a duo for a long time too, so I spent 5 years with my friend Evan Young, who's a comedy juggler, and we did the show called The Show Off Show, where we we started the show at ANACA because I was booking Evan's show and my show
through Big Name Entertainment
because I had other friends. I was like, I'll help you out. Maybe I can make a little money and maybe this will help grow something else,
Yeah.
So I started booking myself, booking friends. I brought Evan to the ANACA and we're in the booth and talking to people. And they're like, oh, do you guys work together? We're like, no, we've got our own shows, but you could bring us in together and maybe we'd have like a whole night of things. And by the 4th time someone asked us that, we were like, yes,
we
do. We do work together.
We do, yeah.
And it's called the Show Off Show. Like, and we just made it up, like just back and forth. And so then we got booked to do that, and just faked it till we made it. And
that's a big part of like learning what you're doing. Like,
yeah, and no, it was great because we both were like street performers, so that's kind of how we met, and so we kind of knew that world, but this was something different. We learned it together, and it went from just kind of like just kind of goofing around together to making it like a tight show that we I know we did one showcase and we ended up doing like 50 schools because of that, which was crazy, which doesn't kind of happen anymore. Like, they used to be a little bit better in a lot of the conferences.
Yeah, you would hear stories of guys like, so I sang 3 songs and I booked 120 shows.
Yeah, well, that's what it used to be. Is because the reason NACA kind of formed was to do. It would work like you would go and perform at one school, and then they would save money if you're in the area by booking you at their school too. Like, so they sort of book these things and try to bring people in, and you do like a bunch of shows in one area.
Okay.
It seems a little different now. I don't know if it's like Amazon Prime or what, but
we got a block booking for you. You're going to be in Boise, Idaho on Tuesday, and on Wednesday you're in Nebraska.
That has definitely happened. I've gone like New York to Chicago to Cleveland to Denver, back to New York, and you're like, wow, I was just here. Like, why can't we? But sometimes they have specific dates that they want and things. So it just seems like it happens less and less that they're kind of working together.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it's like amazing. Like, I remember one time I got booked in and around Atlanta, and I still got to stay in one hotel.
Wow.
For a week.
Isn't that the best thing ever?
And I got to like bing bong and do like these, and I came back to I was like, oh, this is the best.
I'm going to hang stuff up.
Yeah, I know. I was redecorating. So many plans.
That's fantastic.
The Best Western was really the best Western.
Oh my goodness. What's the worst hotel you've ever stayed in on the road? Do you have a specific, no pressure, but there's got to be like one or two that come to mind where you're like,
I did it one time. I was on. I tour with this show called Mutts Gone Nuts. They're like these rescue dogs that do incredible tricks, and we ended up spending a lot of the winter in Florida because it's warm and which is great.
Yeah. Enough said.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect because like the dogs can be in their trailers and it's fine and everything, so it's great. So it was February. We were in Florida. And the one guy, like the guy who does like their merch he's like, let's go to Miami and see things. So we're like, okay. And then we're like, well, we'll just get a hotel wherever. It won't be so bad. And then everywhere in that area, hotels were like $200-$300. And we're like, okay, well, maybe if we just go a little bit outside the city. And then we found one that was like reasonable, $89 on, I just booked it.
Yeah.
And then we got there and I forgot Florida still has like smoking rooms. So like the room was like it
just was
it was smoking. I didn't know how sensitive I was to it, but it was just all like my allergies just like and so the next day I'm like trying to do the show and then my eyes are all red and like my nose is all red. So that was a bad one. And I know I stayed in one just the other day. I'm talking on my phone to my wife and I see something on the corner of my eye like scurry.
No.
And I was like, I was pretty sure it was either a roach or a mouse. I'm not sure.
Was this in the morning or at night?
This is at night.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And I'm like, I was in the middle of nowhere, no other options.
No, yeah.
So I was like, so I start like, I'm like, okay, I think it's behind the curtain. So I move the curtain, not there. And then I'm like, underneath the heater is like this box. So I'm like, I'm ripping the box. I find nothing. So I had to stay in the room with whatever it was scurrying.
You did not sleep well that night, right?
I didn't. I was like, it was one of those nights where I had to get up at like 3 to get to the airport for the next day. So I'm like,
oh my God, yeah.
It's only a few hours. Dude, I'm just gonna wear all my clothes in this bed and see what happens.
I did one of those once. My buddy Keith Coast was performing for like a youth camp in Texas.
Yeah.
And I was coming through, and it was one of those deals where like I was supposed to be in Dallas on like a Tuesday, and then I had to be in Texas again on Thursday. So I'm like, I'm just staying, but I didn't want to spend a bunch of money. So my buddy's like, dude, the camp, like nobody's here. You just come and we'll give you a room at the camp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sweet. So I go there, and they've given me this room that's it's like a hotel room, like a motel room.
Yeah.
But like it's like everything is moist. Like there's towels, but they feel like they've been used, but it's just Texas. You know, and there's no insulation really. And then that night, I swear to you, it was like an ant invasion. Like I just saw ants coming from all over the walls. So I go next door to their room and I'm like, dude, do you have any bug spray? And his wife gives me a bottle of some sort of like essential oil, like thieves oil solution she made for like, oh, this will deter bugs.
Yeah.
And apparently it was really expensive. I found it the next day because all night I just sat there shooting like pools of ants. I didn't sleep.
Wow, I can imagine. As you said that, I'm like thinking of all these horrible other hotels.
Yeah.
Well, I know early on I did a school, I did a college show, and they're like, oh, we don't have a hotel for you, but in the student activities building, we have like a hotel room. I'm like, oh, great. I can just go there and, do whatever. And, I could finish my show and just stay. And so I said, sure, because I didn't know any better.
Right.
And I ended up staying in this hotel room inside a giant like office building, basically. And then I realized that I'm the only one in the building all night. So I even left the room and just kind of walked around like this closed student activity center.
It's terrifying.
I was just like, it's just me. I don't know. Like it just felt so bizarre that I was just, hello?
Just that feeling of I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that someone else isn't here.
Yeah, it was totally post-apocalyptic, like, somebody?
Like those YouTube videos where they're like, we're going to Chernobyl. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
why are you doing that?
We don't need you to
There was
do that.
a nuclear fallout, and now we're going to walk through this amusement park. I love those kind of things.
Yeah, it was totally creepy. I did not sleep well. And I said never again. Changed my rider. I'm like, I need something,
I'm at this weird spot in my career right now where like half of the time is doing high-end corporate events where they put you at like the Ritz or the Four Seasons, and then the other time is like, oh, I'm paying for the hotel, and I always do it. I always am like, well, this is it'll probably be fine because I'm trying to save money. You know what I mean? It's just a weird dynamic to be like half of your life is spent in a place where you're uncomfortable because it's so nice, and then the next is you're uncomfortable because it's so gross.
Yeah, totally. And
I'm just never comfortable.
Yeah. I know. I remember like dragging my wife on the road, and she like and staying at certain hotels, and she like when there's a nice gig, she's like, I'll do those, and then she's like, at some point she's like, no more of this. I can't. Yeah. No, Motel 6 or whatever. Yeah. And I think I changed too when I was like 32. I was like, I think I'm going to 2 stars now. Yeah. You're like finally like, I'm gonna move a star up.
Yeah.
And, but you know what? I feel like having Hotwire on my phone has been like such a big savior now. Like where you can actually look ahead of time. Because I remember even as a kid, my dad not booking hotels, and we'd be like on a trip, and he was just like, I'm gonna go get see if I can get a corporate rate. I guess that's how you book a hotel. Like you had no idea. Now it's so like, okay, I can find out where I'm going. Like I don't have a hotel for tonight. I have to stay near LAX, but I'm like, I can just find something quick, and hopefully it won't be too crazy. But
dude, we were talking about that yesterday. I was at Comedy Magic Club, and all the comics were talking about like how years ago, like when we were kids, you'd be driving with dad, and dad would just be like, well, let me go in here and see. You had to like go drive to the place. And then go inside and talk to him and go, well, there's nothing available. And then you drive to the next place. Yeah. And now you could just go, nah, I don't like it. Oh,
you can find whatever. Like, what, let's see, they have a pool. And you can narrow it down to whatever you want. And it's pretty amazing. Because I don't understand how people booked airlines before the internet. And,
And now I go to a city, I won't even think about what's going to happen when I get there. I just get on a plane and go to wherever and go, there's going to be hotels and rental cars and restaurants. And
I always get to, even getting to the airport, they're like, where are you headed? I'm like,
hold on one second.
I don't know.
I have on many occasions stood in front of the big screen at the airport. Like I have a connection flight.
Yeah.
And I'll be there going, I don't know what city I just left, and I'm not sure what city I'm just going to.
Yeah, it's like a big wheel of like, oh, where are we going?
And then they have it moves. So you're trying to find it and it's moving and you're like, stop moving.
Yeah, I know. I've had so many of those where, I have no idea. I booked this airline ticket 2 months ago. I don't know where I'm going.
Right. And then you'll have, that's what's always funny is when you're talking to clients and they're like, we want to talk about the show and get things in order. It's like, it's 6 months away.
Yeah.
I got a few things happening between, I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I have no, like, when are you going to get in? And I'm like, I haven't even thought of
that flight.
Yeah, maybe a month and a half I'll book it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I have something coming up in a few weeks I haven't even booked a flight for. And yeah. But it's, do you use Tripit at all?
Tripit? No.
Yeah, this is a hot tip.
Here it is. You heard it on About to Break.
About to break hot tips.
Break hot tip.
Oh. Wow. Thanks for bringing a DJ in tonight.
We need the drop.
So Tripit is great. It's an app I use on my phone. They have a free version, but there's like a pro version too.
Okay.
But it combs your emails, like whenever you get like do a Southwest or even Amtrak or whatever, it'll pull that information in and it organizes it all for you. So you have your rental cars, your airlines, like all the hotels, whatever, it'll pop into there and it organizes.
Now, are we worried about who owns it? Like, what do they? I mean,
I'll let them comb my
fine, right?
For the convenience. The Russians can know.
I do the same thing, man. I'm like, whatever.
So really, I don't care.
What if one of these companies was started by a serial killer who's like, I know exactly
where he's going to be.
He's in the student lounge alone.
Oh no. Tripit. He's like the it clown.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh boy.
It's just a clown, but he's got a
Pennywise.
balloon in one hand and a suitcase in the other. Dude, I'm gonna totally use that. Tripit.
I'm pretty sure that I feel like I hope that's the right name because I think that's what it is. But it's just I hit the button on my phone. But it's been really great. Like I remember somebody else saying that, and it saved me so many times. Should just try and like look through emails. Like, did I book with budget today? I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I got a hotel. I think I got a hotel.
Yeah. And you get there like, no.
See, I do all my emails all through Gmail, and so I'm constantly just searching like keywords and dates. Like, okay, what did I did? Oh, look, I booked something.
Yeah. No, and I have a spreadsheet even that I keep. Somebody showed me that one time, and I'm like, okay, this will help organize my life. As far as business, my business life is very organized. The rest of my life is.
Tell me everything. I want to hear it all.
So I use.
Tell me how Big Time Entertainment is. This still Big Time Entertainment?
Oh, Big Name.
Big Name.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm still Big Name Entertainment. But now I'm with another agency, Fresh Variety, who's out of New Hampshire. So my friend Laura had a company. Okay. And I had a company, and we merged our efforts. So now Laura does like all the booking and all that kind of stuff, and I handle all like the marketing and making things look pretty. So like doing the website, and making promo materials, and making emails look nice and stuff.
I have 20 questions off, Mike. We're coming back.
Sure, yeah, please. This is gonna be a two-parter.
It's a break. 2-part break.
I also do sound effects for the company.
That'd be great.
But what was we talking about?
We were talking about trip details and logistics. Dude, how are we feeling? I'm getting a little hot now. Are you
you can.
I'm going to turn on the thing. It's going to make a sound. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
That's how you know this.
Just have a swamp cooler.
We have to we'll take it out in post.
So Tripit is great. Then I use a spreadsheet too, where I kind of just keep all my details in there.
Okay,
and it's like
one spreadsheet, like the master list.
Yeah, each year I do one. So I'll do like a 2019, 2020,
and it's just got like client date.
Yeah, it has like my So the where I'm going, like their address, who my contact is, as well as like, did I book rental? Did I book flight? Do I need to drive? Like whatever it is. And then even did I just send follow up? Did I do it? Did I advance this one or whatever? Because I'm we're always working a few weeks or a few months ahead. And,
right.
So yeah, it just kind of keeps my I travel a lot. I did like 200 days on the road, I think, last year. So it's just nice to know, okay, I can look through the spreadsheet. At least it's there.
Yep.
So I have one on my computer, and then actually Laura, who I work with a lot, she has one on Google Drive where she'll put all that information in there.
Nice.
And I have it set up the same as my spreadsheet, copy and paste it into mine, and then so it just kind of keeps it all together. So because I know there's, and I can make notes when I'm doing advancing things. Like I can say, oh, I have to park here, or oh, it's actually gonna be Ashley and not Ted who I'm meeting or whatever. Yep. So
when you're on the phone and you're talking about logistics, you can put all that.
Yeah, just have a notes section. It goes all in there. I learned that from a band. There was a band that did a lot of NACAs when I first started, and they sort of went from not doing, like, just kind of coming on the market, seeing what it was, and then figuring it out very quickly and turning it into like a big business. But yeah,
dude, that's super helpful.
It was great. It was.
Can we like, say friends go support us on Patreon, you'll get a copy of Jonathan's spreadsheet. I'm joking.
Oh, wow.
Sign up for our email list.
Nice. Are you on Patreon?
I am.
Very cool.
I am very I'm terrible at promoting it.
well, let the people know.
Let the people know. Patreon.com/about to break.
I just heard I heard information about that guy. So the guy who started it, he's a musician. Like, do you know about him at all?
I don't know the story at all. No.
So he's got this band on YouTube called Pomplamoose.
Okay.
And they do sort of funk versions of everyday hits and things like that.
Nice.
So take like a current hit, something by like Lizzo or whoever that everyone's listening to, and they'll do like a funk version of it.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
He's in San Francisco. He's like a tech guy, but he was like trying to figure out how I can make money doing my music and stuff like that. So he started a Patreon so people could donate, or be regular donating partners, I guess, in the business or whatever. But so he just he flies to LA once a month, hires musicians. They figure out these songs. They do, I think, 4 of them or 8 of them.
Okay.
In like these 2 days.
But it's just random musicians. It's not, or like people he works with regularly.
He probably has some that he works with regularly.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's got this like super nerdy bass player who's like amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like funk bass, and he's really unbelievable. But
I love it when people's ability doesn't match their look.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy, you would never, you're like, okay, he's an accountant, or he works with software, but he's amazing. So, so I saw their music, and then somebody was telling me like, oh, that's the guy from Patron, because he plays like the keys in this band.
Yeah.
But he turned that into like, that's what his Patreon people get. He gets to make the music every month, and
that's so cool.
And he puts out one a week. So he does like just 2 intense days of music, but then over like the month he rolls out those songs and things like that. So,
oh man,
I just like that the guy who started it also
he needed it,
and he made it work for him. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but Pomplamoose,
and
then Patreon.com.
Patreon.com.
About to break.
So good, dude. Okay, we're both family men.
Yes.
This is a rarity. It's not a rarity, but we're slightly unicornish in this world of
sure. Yeah.
Comedy and magic.
Yeah, I have two daughters, and I'm married. And
how old are your kiddos?
3 and 6.
Amazing. I have 2 daughters.
Oh, you do?
11 and 14.
Okay, wow.
I started very young, which is why I look very old.
No, the gray is coming in. Yeah,
oh, man.
Right
mine is in fierce. I for a while I was trying to do something about it. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be that guy.
Well, I'm sort of at that point too, because we're in show business. You know, like what do we do? Do we start covering it up, or like? But I feel like more people are embracing it now. Like, they're like, they want the George Clooney silver fox.
I'm like, I'm cool with looking like 10 years older than I am. I'll just. In 10 years, I'm still going to look like this, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I think about Steve Martin. He had white hair, like, since I was little, and he doesn't look like he's changed much.
No.
I think the white hair kind of just, like, kept him going. Or even, like, Ed Asner. I'm like, oh, he's still alive, because he looks so old, like, Mary Tyler Moore. In reruns, he looks old. How's he still? So, I think there's something about it there that you should you become ageless.
There you go, man.
There you go. And the young kids, they're making their hair white and gray.
It's true. It's true.
Look at that.
I saw a guy. This is stupid. Why am I even saying this? I saw a guy yesterday who dyed his hair blue. But like just part of it blue.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I thought I'm going to dye my hair. And literally yesterday I was like, maybe I'll be that guy. My daughter was like, No, you're not.
I can be
You're
that
not
guy.
going to be that guy.
No, I said go for it. Embarrass your kids. That's
dude.
That's a big part of being a parent.
Why else would we do what we do if it wasn't to embarrass
Yeah,
our
I
kids?
know. My kids, they still think I'm cool.
Yeah.
And they really enjoy what I do. Are your kids into it still?
They are. Like,
Great.
and they're 11 and 14, so it's like, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But they're still like, my youngest daughter, Kennedy, is she just doesn't like to make a scene.
Okay.
She's like her mom, like very much
Sure.
Like, okay, out in the wild, like let's all chill out and be cool.
Yeah.
You know, my oldest is like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
She's like, you know, she and I both will just break into musical theater without even realizing we're doing it. We'll be in the middle of Target. My wife will be like, "Stop singing that!" Oh, okay.
A little flash mob in Target.
And then my wife just laughs at me. She doesn't. She sounded mean. She's not mean. Squirt singing.
No more.
No more.
I told you.
You sing one more time.
I totally understand that whole world.
Hey friends, I hope you're enjoying this conversation with Jonathan Burns. Isn't he fantastic? I told you would love it. Don't worry, there's a lot more. But before we get to it, I got to take a moment and tell you all that on January 7th, that's Tuesday, January 7th, I will be recording my first ever live hour comedy magic storytelling special. I couldn't be more excited about it. I'm probably more excited about this than anything I've been excited about since the birth of my children. So come to this thing. It's going to be amazing. You can get tickets at dynastytypewriter.com, or better yet, just go to taylorhughes.com, click on the very first link you see at the top of the screen, taylorhughes.com, and you can get tickets. 2 shows. We're doing a 7 o'clock and a 9 o'clock. The 9 o'clock is getting pretty full, friends, so if you want to go to that, get your tickets right now. Go over to taylorhughes.com, click on the show link, and I will see you there. Okay, let's get back to this great conversation with Jonathan Burns. There's a really cool part coming up about how he used cheese to do a trick for Penn and Teller. Okay, bye.
I feel like when I was a kid, I was total ham. Like I was like your older daughter, where I'm like, look at me. I do. I'm gonna wear.
Watch me do a flip.
Yeah, that's right. Guys, watch this. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
So I was totally that, like, attention seeking. And then when I started performing a lot more, I noticed like, oh, I don't need to be that guy. Like I found that outlet. And then, I used to be at parties and be like, look at my party tricks. Like, I'm going to put my legs on my head and armpit farts and whatever. And I would, dress in, I was all thrift store clothes. Like, I wanted to be an individual and all that kind of stuff. And then now I'm like, don't look at me. I'll talk to people at parties, but I just don't want to be like the center of attention as much.
I do have, for me, it's involuntary. Like, I'm loud. I'm just a loud person, and I do think, I don't know if this is a thing, but I think I have musical Tourette's, because like I will just break into song. Literally, have no. We pulled up to Starbucks drive-through yesterday, and the whole family's in the car, and we're just sitting there talking, and the radio wasn't even on, and I just started singing into the drive-through window. Completely oblivious that I was doing it, and then got really embarrassed. So I'm a magic guy, so like I hate when you go out with your friends who are performers, and there's the one guy who's like at the bar or the restaurant, and he's like, "You guys want to see a card trick or watch me flip this lifesaver?" And I'm like, "Stop it!
No,
this is not a stage.
We're off the clock."
Yeah.
Was it a guy who works a lot or no?
Well, it's a guy who performs a lot.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's working or he's just like, I will perform anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. And I feel like there's sometimes a difference. I have those friends who are like that I don't see as much. And then I have the friends that I can just have normal conversations with. Like, I feel like we're simpatico, which is good. Like, I could, I've never said simpatico. I don't know.
Like that.
I don't know why.
That's how you know we're in the right spot, man.
Yeah,
if we
right.
can start saying words we've never said before.
And languages we don't speak.
Right.
I am working. Duolingo, another great app. Hot tip.
Duolingo. Oh, it's another breaking point. What is Duolingo?
That's another. It's like you can learn foreign languages with like games and things like that.
What?
So it's free. You can do the free version. I'm learning Spanish. I've spent a lot of time in Spain doing some shows and things like that.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to work on my Spanish, and it's really helped because I took Spanish in high school, but I just kind of goofed around for 2 years and
but now you're like wanting to learn.
Yeah, I wish I would have paid attention.
Duolingo is helping you do that.
Duolingo, yeah.
What a great spontaneous tip. By the way, guys, go to Duolingo.com, put in About to Break for your 10% off.
It's free, so 10% off of nothing. But if you do the pro version, maybe I think you pay there. But it's great. You can do like any language, even like Klingon. I think they have on there.
What?
So it's kind of fun. There's like short lessons.
Okay.
And you can, and they even have like you can have meetups and you can learn with other people. But it's been helpful with my Espanol.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks.
That's awesome. I was like, I saw the pause coming, and I'm like, let's just sit in it. Let's just sit in the space.
I can drink my iced coffee.
How has it been? I think we were talking about people that they're on all the time. You know what I think breaks that out of you is the road. Once you start having to like go on a plane to do something, it separates it a little bit of like, oh, that's the thing I do when I do the thing. It's not.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. If you've seen my act, it's very different than I am in real life because that guy can't take his kids to preschool. We're here, and then confetti shoots out of my hands. Like there's not. So it's nice that I can have that sort of other world where I'm totally goofy off stage as well, but not to the extreme that I am on stage.
What are your kids? I mean, they probably don't know any different. They've just always known Dad does this. But
they have, and it's funny. I think at first, my older daughter Charlotte. I remember her coming to a show like, why are you guys laughing at my dad? But it was like,
stop it!
Yeah,
you be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So,
honey, I want them to do this.
Yeah, it is. But now she'll sit with my wife and be like, he's about to do the joke about oh, here comes the cheese jokes, whatever it is, and so she's like really it's just normal for her, which is neat. But then she doesn't know, like, I perform at this cabaret in Ibiza. I've done it for, like, the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, like, a gig that came up through, I did this one show in New York as a guest, and then I got invited to do this other show in London for a month. And then someone saw me there, and they invited me to this show in Spain, and I was like, okay. So it's just me, and then, like, all these, like, amazing, chiseled, tan, gorgeous dancers and singers. And then I come out, and it's like, hi. And people are like, record scratch, like, what's happening? But they announced me too, like, it's in Spanish, but they say like, basically like, our next act just arrived from the airport. We don't know him, but we've heard he's very sexy.
That's
ladies,
great.
Sit back,
so then you get to just play
and then then the spotlight hits me, and I come out with my suitcase, and I go up and do my act. But so we've done that for the past 5 years. My wife's a teacher, so she's off in the summers. We get to travel a lot together.
That's great.
Which is awesome. So I've got to take them the last 4 years with me.
Yeah.
But now my 6-year-old's just like, well, this summer we'll go to Spain, and then my dad's probably on a Disney cruise, so we'll probably do that. And like, and
you're like, you have no idea, kids. Like,
yeah, I know. Well, even we just had our parent teacher conference, and her first grade teacher was like, we're talking about nouns, and I asked Charlotte, like, we just said, can anyone name like a noun, person, place, a thing? And she goes, Los Angeles. And she's like, of course you're gonna say Los Angeles. So it's funny, they're around it. And I think they still like coming to my shows, which is good. But I don't force them. I'm like, if you guys don't want to come, like,
that's the move, man. That's the move. Like, we've never made our kids do anything.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, we don't make them brush their teeth or clean their room.
Sure, they got to learn.
But we don't make them, like, as far as entertainment goes, I try to, like, just, this is what we do, and you do what you want. But they still love, like last week I did Magicopolis out in Santa Monica. Yeah. And it's like this old theater, and they just love being backstage places. They just love, like, oh, I'm going to go play with the fly loft. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, it is fun. Like, my daughter was like, you look at all these snacks. Like, the first time, she's like, I can take whatever I want. I'm like, sure, just grab something. Wow. Yeah. But my 6-year-old,
our kids grow up and go in a hotel and be like, where's the basket?
Yeah, right. What?
Where's the gift basket?
That's right. My rider said orange juice. So I was doing a theater the one time, and she came. My 6-year-old can like come with me, but and she's good. Like it was just me and her. Like one time she came on the road with me, and we did. I was on a cruise. My parents came, and my older daughter came. So we did that together, and it was really fun. Like it was kind of neat to like just share the road with her. And then I had to do a theater show with the dogs another night. And then, she came backstage, and then I just set up a chair on the side of the stage. She sat there really nicely and enjoyed the show. And but our 3-year-old, we realized, probably would never be able to do that. She's the exact opposite, where she just...
Is she really?
If we put her in a chair and I'm like on stage, she would just take off and do something. She'd be in the parking lot. You're like, what are you doing, Lydia? Get back here.
She's like, I've got places to go.
Yes. Oh, man, I've got my own itinerary. Dad.
Come on, Dad.
Yes.
I do think that, like my youngest... The one that is very shy, she goes from initially shy to the most outgoing once you get to know her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't try to be funny, but because she's been around all these comedians, because all the dad's friends are like professionally hilarious.
Yeah.
Like she's just a silent killer. She's so freaking funny and doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
But like beyond her years, we'll say stuff that I'm like, but it's hilarious.
She's got bits already.
Yeah, she's got a little bit she does. And,
that's great. Yeah. I know. They make me laugh more than anybody. It's so much fun. Good. I feel like that's one of the things that it's so hard as a parent. Like you're like, I shouldn't be laughing at you right now because you're in trouble. But
dude, I get in trouble for laughing. My wife's always like, but I do that with other people's kids. Like like your kids would do something they weren't supposed to, and I'd be like, my wife would be like, stop it, they're not supposed to do that.
Well, that's the house that I grew up in. My parents laughed at me all the time, and I knew I could get away with stuff if I made them laugh. Yeah. So they all encouraged that. Like that was the feeder bar, my laughter. So I think that's part of the reason I probably do this, but. And I smile at things, like I have a big smile and it's involuntary and just comes out. So I can't like I can't help it. And then my wife's a first grade teacher, so she's got like she knows the eye.
She's trained to not crack.
She's professional at it, and so I just usually just follow her lead and things. But sometimes I'm just like, I can't. I want to. I have to like
third grade. She teaches
first grade.
First grade.
So she's like the same age as my older daughter. So like it's she knows, and even going to her classroom, I do like a magic lesson with them at the end of the year. It's like a special treat, and it's so funny because they really love her.
Yeah.
But they're also a little scared of her. Which, like they just, I think they respect her, I guess is a better way to put it. And it's really fun because I like came in the room and some kids were like goofing off a little bit, and they're like, Mrs. Burns is coming, everyone to their seats. And they're like, and she's got like total control over that classroom, and it's amazing to see because then I come in and I'm like, everybody, I'll scream, and like we just go crazy.
And then you're like, bye, honey, see you later.
Yeah.
Try calming them down.
Yeah, but then she's like, dings the magic wand, and everyone thinks it's back to normal. It's pretty amazing. So yeah,
she's got to have some crazy stories where she has like had to not crack under like kids saying insane things.
Yeah, yeah. So I always encourage her to write them down. I feel like this is a book someday. All these amazing things that have happened, and it's really fun. It's a fun age because they're so innocent still. Like I like that they're really sweet. But then they hear things and they say things, and you're like, ooh.
They don't know what's not. They don't know how to filter.
Yeah, right.
They haven't been programmed. They haven't been programmed into the system, man.
Right. And then like my parents are having an adult sleepover this week, and you're like, what? Oh no, we're going to grandma's house. Like,
everybody puts their keys in a bowl.
What
is happening, dude? How did you find? Okay, first of all, when people ask what you do, like for me, when people go, "What do you do?" I do comedy and magic.
Yeah.
And that's weird enough, but like, how do you describe to people who haven't seen what you do?
It's
what you do.
It's hard because there's not like it's a lot of things. So my moniker is kind of like flexible comedy.
Yep.
Because I do contortion stuff. But it's funny, but the full show is not contortion. Like you don't like if you come to my show, it's not going to be me bending in different shapes for an hour. There's magic, there's some juggling, there's circus tricks,
but it's all incredibly original.
Thanks.
Like I remember when I first saw you do your Cards Across with slices of cheese.
Yeah.
And I was like, brilliant.
Well, I was doing it as Cards Across for years, and it was going fine. Like I still had that. The flexitone, the instrument that I use. Yeah, another great sound effect.
Yeah,
for your DJ.
Yeah.
And then so I was doing it like that. It was going fine, but then I got booked at the Comedy Nest, which is in Montreal.
Okay.
And actually, David Acker runs it.
Okay.
Magician.
Yeah.
He's been like childhood hero, and I get an email from David Acker asking me
You're
to
like,
perform in his
"What?"
club. Okay, yeah, of course.
Oh, those moments, man.
So great, yeah. So I'm driving there, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. David's gonna be there. I'm not gonna do the cards across from him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what about cheese? And I stopped at a gas station. They had slices of craft singles, and I learned how to do the moves in the car. And I tried it that night, and I was like, all right, never again. Like it worked. It worked
That's
immediately.
Fantastic.
Because it was so. It was one. Some of those routines that you try to craft and you're working on for years, and you don't. Try to crack it. This was one of those like it hit me, and it worked right away.
That's so good.
Because I sent it. I was in this group. I remember on Facebook. It was a few friends that we were sort of. We'd put up things that we were working on, jokes or videos of whatever, and then we'd kind of critique it. It was like a small group, like 4 of us or whatever. And I remember doing it, getting a video of it, and I was like, I just did this last night. What do you guys think? And they were like, it's great. Like, there wasn't like, oh, what if you change this? It was like, I don't know what to say yet,
Yeah.
And I've been able to,
because they're
push
all
more
going,
stuff into it.
Damn it! Why did I think of that?
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. But it was, it was one of those like, just it hit me like an idea, a creative idea, just sort of hit me, and I was able to run with it. But and then I have other acts that I've been working on for years that I'm like, I don't know if this will ever work, but I'm gonna try. And
do you have bits that you like keep hanging on to? Like you've tried, like I have bits that I've tried so many different ways, and I'm like, this is probably never gonna work, but I just feel connected to it. Like there's some things in my act right now that are that I want to take out. They're working, they're fine, right?
But I'm not interested in them anymore. So but they're 10 minutes of the act, and I'm still using it for that now.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping some of the new stuff that comes in will take over that space at some point. And I've had to do that sometimes where I've just thrown away, like, okay, can't do it, and I'm just gonna take it out.
Because you've lost the joy of it, or
or it's I've been doing it for too long. Like I created it when I was 18. Yep. And now 20 years later, I'm still trying to do it, and it's
See, this has been my big thing with, not as much with variety, but with magic specifically. Like magicians just don't burn material.
Yeah.
Like comics burn material.
Yeah. I guess it's the difference between having, like, you can create the act. Like I was just talking to somebody about Jay Leno, like, who's never had a comedy special.
Right.
But because he's doing the act. The act on the road is like the same, and it's honed, and it's the act.
Right.
And he's putting some topical stuff in, but basically it's the act.
Right.
And I you can do that. I feel like Matt King, he's got like the act. He still he does some things on TV, but the act is pretty well there for forever. But then comedians, like they can roll over material. I feel like writing a joke, not that it's easier, but it's an easier refillable vessel, I guess. You can kind of, like, I talked to a friend who just did what was it? Dry bar comedy special.
Okay, yeah.
So I asked him, like, oh, are you going to get rid of that material now? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, but I did this joke was about a medical issue, and then he's like, now I have my new medical issue joke, so I just sort of push that into that slot and move that things around. So I think changing a trick or like a routine is different than changing up a joke.
Yeah, I mean, jokes are all what are you saying, right? It's all the language aspect of it.
Yeah,
so every routine has that generally, unless you're performing silently.
Yeah,
but then it also has all these other
your
logistics of props and what is the blocking, and you've got volunteers on stage and all that.
Right. Yeah, figuring out what that thing is. So it's I guess for magic even, I feel like you can say, okay, I can do this. I want this to happen. Like, you can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm always trying to analyze it too. I feel like we're in the same space where, because a lot of the stuff I do is different. Like, it's not based on anything. Like, I do an act now that's it's with whipped cream, and I do, it's like 10 minutes long now, but it started as a party trick where you spray whipped cream on the back of your hand, pop it up in the air, and catch it, which takes 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I've turned it from that into a 10-minute routine with a volunteer. but it took a long time. Like there was, it was like a short thing, and then I kept adding to it. And now it's like its own piece. So it's 10 minutes, but it has a lot of jokes I had to write for it, and physical bits and whatever.
Well, okay, so going back to like Leno built his audience though off of having the Tonight Show.
Right.
So he can do the same thing on the road because he's not doing that on stage every night, but he's also putting out material every night that other people were helping
topical
write,
jokes or whatever. Yeah.
And that's been my big thing with like, okay, this is it. If I've probably said this a million times as of late, but this is my big beef, is that comedians, they gain their own audience by touring and then putting out material and then touring different material, right?
Yeah.
So that if you go to a comedy club and you see somebody and you go, I love that act, you can go on YouTube or you can go on Netflix and you can see them do more different stuff, you know? And the next time you see them, you're going to do different. So you gain a little bit of a following that way.
Yeah.
But because magicians do the act and don't change it or put anything else out, or are afraid that if we put stuff out, people are going to steal it or copy it or whatever.
Sure.
We're constantly borrowing audiences.
Yeah.
So we have to go to, a corporate or a university or somewhere in like.
Yeah. And there's not as much of an established, like a magician special. Like I know some people are trying, like Justin Willman is doing it, and
I'm taping one in January.
Oh, you are? Nice.
Well, I'm self-producing it.
Oh,
like,
cool.
I don't know where it's going to live yet.
Cool.
But I'm filming it.
Great.
It's happening.
Great.
Then we'll see what happens.
That's exciting. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I wish because people love variety. I mean, you do, when you do a show for like a comedy audience, like you're working in Comedy Magic Club, right?
Right, yeah.
So like you do it there, and they're like, they want it. They love it.
It's so funny too. Like I always, like in most comedy clubs, I feel like comedians don't like magic but I don't know where I bought into that idea because I heard a couple comedians talk crap about magic years ago.
I think when the comedy boom happened, like in the 80s, and all the comedy clubs came up, I think that's when a lot of it
was like a shortcut.
Well, yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a cheat code to get into comedy clubs.
Exactly, and I think a lot of comedians saw the response the magician was getting, and then they found out. They saw another magician doing the same act that they had bought the trick and just did the same thing. So I think they saw it as it was
hacky.
It was hacky in that sense. But now
Patton's got that great bit about the magician.
So funny. Yeah.
The sad old magician. Sorry, you're saying.
No. So I think there was that stigma then because it was the big comedy boom. There was people doing comedy clubs who weren't necessarily comedians, and those purists were angry at it. And now I feel like it's cool. Like when you do the Comedy Magic Club, you're sitting backstage and everyone wants to talk about magic and not about comedy.
Yeah. And then like you go on stage and they go like, all right, guys, here's the magician for the night. And people like, you can hear them like, ooh, like.
They're excited.
People want to see magic.
Yeah. I just did a show. So I did Hot Tub with Kurt Braunohler and Kristen Shaw on Monday. So I've done it a few times. They're really nice to me. But I'm always the weirdo backstage with like the trunk of, the steamer trunk full of stuff. And I've got suitcases and whatever, whatever it is. And
luggage. We all got luggage.
I know. And same thing at Comedy Magic Club. Like, oh, you're the magician. Yeah. I was like, my little case.
If I was just one suitcase funnier.
Yeah. Right. So, I'm going to get a trailer soon. It's going to be amazing. But that's all comedians. But, I came out and I was able to hang with them.
Yeah.
Even though it was, comedians you've seen on TV or heard about or seen them do other stuff. And but the audience was ready for it. They were like, it was a welcome change.
Yeah,
it was still about making them laugh.
Yep.
And I've always felt I'm lesser than a stand-up, but I'm trying to change that perspective in my head too.
Yeah,
because we're not. I mean, we're doing the same thing. We're still being creative. We're still making our own material and stuff like that. But I have that same.
That like imposter
hurdle,
syndrome. Like,
that same hurdle in my head that I've just got to get over.
Well, and then as you're talking, like last night we were having a conversation in the green room, and it's like it's the same world. I mean, there's slight differences, but like we're all, if you're working, you're dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. Like I was. Not to name drop, but I was there, and it's like Dom Herrera was the.
Who's that?
Dom Herrera.
You're like, this interview's over.
He doesn't know Dom. Oh yeah, you're at Comedy Magic.
Comedy Magic Club.
Dom
Herrera's there.
And you're like, oh crap.
Well, then Daniel Tosh comes to like visit him, and you're just like sitting there like, I belong here. I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And then, but the whole conversation was about, they were like, oh, you're a magician. Now, what about the Magic Castle Hotel? Like, do people stay there? Like, and they're like, how many rooms is that? Like, they have all these questions about the Magic Castle or magicians or like, where do you work? Like, they want to find out all the stuff about magic, and it's really funny to hear that, because I'm in that world, but I, not necessarily a magician or whatever. But it's just cool that they want to know about our world, and because every backstage they talk about. Comedy stuff, like who's booking whatever, or are you doing this festival or what, whatever that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's kind of makes us extra special sometimes in there. Like there's only one of us that night.
That's true.
And that place is so cool. Like I'm so happy that I've been able to work there a little bit.
The best, man.
Yeah, because the audience is just...
The audiences are just primed. Like they show up. I don't know where these people come from.
I don't either.
I'm like, this is not...
Yeah,
we're performing last night. One of the comics comes off stage and he goes like, "This is not. Nothing about this is comedy. He's like, nothing about this is stand-up comedy. Like they're too nice.
Yeah,
where are these people from? Like,
and you get like a great
nice meal,
a really nice meal,
and then they pay you, and it's like what?
Yeah, they're so cool. Like I really want to go back soon.
There's other clubs that everyone's dying to work, and you go there and they pay you nothing and they treat you terribly.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yes, I'll be back. Hopefully, it was.
Right. I know. That place is definitely special.
It's amazing.
And it's just nice to be able to hang with like the people that you like. I know you're from the TV,
right? Yeah. Well, and like you never know too. Like this week, I did Wednesday to Saturday this week, and so like. You never know. Like every night, I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to work with, and then you roll in, you're like, oh my goodness, it's you. How fun! And then sometimes like it'll be like, oh, your buddies are there, and you didn't even know they were going to be on. And
right. No, that happened a few times to me too. I'm like, oh great, Tommy's on the show too. Yeah. This is so cool. And it's a kind of a magical place that. Yeah, I'm happy to be able to come and do every once in a while.
Yeah. And I remember. I mean, I have strong memories of being a kid and watching Harry Anderson's special.
Yes.
And going, and so like I don't like I do the same thing with the castle. Like I associate these memories of being a kid and just thinking I can't imagine ever doing something like that, and then to be doing it in the exact place that you watched it happen.
It's really crazy.
I don't know how you can get tired of it. Like you get tired in the business, but like moments like that, I'm just like. Buddy, talk to your 5-year-old self.
Yeah, no.
And
no. Like I did. I got to do Stupid Human Tricks on Letterman, and that was one of those. Like I was, my brother and I like that's what we did in the summers. Like when we were a little bit older, it was just watching Letterman, and he, just it was the best. And we even went to go see. He took me to a taping to see Letterman, and that was amazing. And then I got to be on the other side, like on the Ed Sullivan Theater. I'm like, the Beatles were here, you know, and I'm looking. And I had I don't know if you've had this ever, but Dave came over and it was very dreamlike, where he was like looming over me and all in shadow. And I don't remember anything. Now I've seen the clip, so I sort of know what happened.
Like, I've been told I did the thing.
Yeah, but it was like I was in a weird, and I've heard that from other comedians too, where they've done, Letterman, or when they did Carson or whatever. And it was sort of like a weird, your brain kind of goes into like a panic mode or whatever.
That's crazy, man.
But it was amazing to, it's like those things that you don't expect at all. And even my dad, I was talking to my dad recently. He spent his whole career delivering Wonder Bread and Twinkies, and working hard, getting up early in the morning, and really instilled like find something that you love to do and work really hard.
Yeah.
So, and we were just talking the other day, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta go. I got the show in London, and then I gotta go to Hong Kong. Like it was like some ridiculous, like I had some ridiculous schedule.
Yeah.
He's like, just stopped and was like, did you ever think this was gonna happen? I'm like. No, it just sort of came together, and I did. It even made me like sit in my house the other day. I'm like, I bought this house fitting through a toilet seat.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's really bizarre, and you kind of forget about the journey, but it's been amazing.
I'm doing a bit right now where I bring out the magic kit my parents bought me when I was 7.
Nice.
And I talk about like my parents got me this, and then this got me everything else.
Yeah, Marshall Brodeen.
Yeah, and mine was the Harry Blackstone Jr.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, but yeah, you think about. I mean, yesterday morning, my dad, and my stepmom were camping up like 40 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And so we took the kids up yesterday morning and let them go fishing and like showing them how to cast and all this stuff. And I'm talking to my dad, and he's just like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I'm just talking to him like we all talk to each other about like what we're working on.
Yeah.
And I'm not even thinking about it. And he's like, "Wait, what?" Like, you know what I mean? Like you catch yourself talking to your folks, and yeah, you realize like, oh my gosh, like. It's pretty incredible, like, that we get to do this.
Yeah, no, I feel so lucky, especially when I meet people with real jobs, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll go to, like, my wife's Christmas party, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I gotta go to Paris and do this. What?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, tomorrow? Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you sort of forget because we're in it, and especially when you're just talking to showbiz people,
Right.
like they're like, oh yeah, of course.
Doing this podcast, I always feel like whenever we get into like, because a lot of times we're complaining about stuff, and it's like it's a very privileged conversation to complain about getting paid to do the thing that you would do for free.
Totally.
You know, and then a lot of times we do for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny when you're talking to people. We have friends who like work 9 to 5s, and they're like, "Oh, so how's it going? You got the day off?" And I'm like, "Oh, I think I work Thursday, and then I have to fly out Saturday."
Yeah, right. Like, I know. Yeah, we because of some of the more recent TV stuff, more like of other parents know what I do.
Yeah.
Like before, they didn't really know or understand it. Now they're like, "Oh, you're going where to do what?" And it is funny just to kind of explain my life because I don't think of it in that sense. I'm just like, because I got to get to the gig and I got to do the thing. But pretty lucky to do this.
And I always I joke about like after the show, people will come and be like, "That was amazing. That was the best show I've ever seen. What do you do for a living?" You know, and I always get frustrated with that. But then I go like, but when you think about it, like when we try to like.
They can't fathom
I can't fathom that somebody would make a living doing what we do.
Yeah.
Like somebody pays you like mortgage money.
Yeah, right. I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And now, it's good to kind of sit back and just remember that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
And I also love that like later this week we'll both be stuck somewhere in an airport and a flight will get canceled and we'll be like, "Why does this always happen to me?"
It's all totally. I've been that guy too.
How did you find out you were bendy?
I was always.
Is that weird?
What? I'm finding out right now. No, I've always kind of been bendy. So that was like the party tricks when I was, being a ham in front of people.
Yeah.
I was sticking my leg over my head and grossing out girls in gym class. And
Perfect.
Then I was a boy magician, like a lot of us, like a teenager.
Yep.
Did some magic tricks for some people, and they were like, "Do you want to perform at my daughter's birthday?" I was like, "All right."
Yeah, they're like, we will give you $10 in pizza.
And again, exactly, pretty much, that was it. And I did the same thing. I asked my grandmother, "Can I borrow your scarves?" Stuffed a bunch of scarves up my sleeves, and did what I thought a magician should do, and did my few tricks, and I was like, that was fun. And then more people kept asking, and I was like, okay, so it was a magic show for a long time, and then I started adding in the bendy stuff. I was like, I think the toilet seat was the first thing actually. I was at Lowe's, I saw that wall of seats, and I'm like, I wonder if I could fit through there, and I could. And then that night,
did you try it at Lowe's?
That one I bought and tried at home, but I do fit through a picture frame, and I tried that out at Michael's. Like I was like, what size am I? And I was like,
trying on clothes.
Well, 8 by 10,
No.
11 by 14. I'm 11 by 14. So, and I go butt first through a picture frame. So yeah. Michael was not too happy, but I figured it out. So there's a lot of things. I'll just like look at stuff. I'm like, what if that folding chair? I bet I could fit through that, like or whatever.
That's
and
so fantastic.
That's a lot of my life is looking at things.
Have you ever gotten stuck? Like when you're practicing, like
never on stage. I did try. I do a trick where I remove my underwear without removing my pants.
Yeah, you did that on Corden, right?
Yeah. And
Amazing.
And for Jay Leno too. I've done it for both of them.
I love that you've removed your underpants on television.
Multiple times. Yeah, that's
That's so good.
That's what the world wants, you know. So I tried to do that combined with a toilet seat at one point when I was trying to like do some, and I got the underwear wrapped around the lid somehow, and so I'm in my house like my legs over my shoulder. I'm trying to get through this thing, and I had to like walk through my house to find like a pair of scissors. I cut myself free, and I was like, yeah, that was the closest I've ever been.
And you never had any wardrobe malfunctions doing this routine?
Well, no, not so much. One time I did forget to put shorts on. Like I have pants, and then there's shorts, and then there's underwear, and then there's more stuff underneath that. But I was getting ready. It was at a festival with other friends, and it was like this promotional day. We were like performing outside of a bank in a parking lot, and my friends are sitting in the back side of the audience near like the sound system. And I turn around like I normally do. I undo the buckle, undo my button, unzip my fly, open up, look down, realize I'm not wearing the shorts. And then I look panicked at my friends, and they just start laughing because they know exactly what just happened.
You're in a parking lot?
Yeah, and then I had to I put the buckle back on, and I kept going. No one knew in the audience, but my friends will never let me forget.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Dude, that's so good. Yeah. I know we gotta wrap here pretty soon, but I wanna know what you're excited about. You said that you're doing a lot of NACA stuff, but you're also looking into doing some new things. Can you share any of the new things you're excited about? Or
I'm trying to just write new stuff and do new things for just for the show, but. So some other opportunities have come up just from TV things, and hopefully there'll be more of that kind of things, maybe related to the act and maybe not like more actory things. We'll see, which
awesome.
is like a side of it that I never really thought about. Like I did acting, in college and in high school and stuff like that, like minor things. But, so there might be something like that, kind of taking my character in the real world sort of deal.
Amazing.
So we'll see. I don't know.
More trips to LA, possibly?
Possibly, yeah. So, that's part of the reason I'm here, too, is just to kind of be seen by some things, and you never know what's going to happen. Like, something can happen or nothing.
Yeah, every day. It's like every day, something... It seems like we always got something in the works that is probably going to not turn out to be anything, or it could be amazing.
Yeah.
But isn't that great though?
It is. And then sometimes when they don't go, I'm disappointed. But then that turns into something else. Like, or I learned something from that process that I can use for the next thing that somebody will see. Like I did Just for Laughs one year. So I did Francis Got Talent. I got to go to Just for Laughs and perform there, which was like a dream come true. So cool. So I was there as part of the French version too, like Just pour rire or whatever they call it. And it's it was great, but it was like the French version, and I realized how separate the French version and the English speaking version.
You've got your app out. You're using your
I had a gag.
Duolingo.
I did write a gag for that because it was mostly French speaking audience that was there. So I did these shows, and I'm like, how can I work in that I don't speak French? And so I came out and I can't remember what I said in French. I learned enough French to be like, my name is Jonathan Burns. I don't speak French.
Yeah.
Je n'ai pas français or something like that. Yeah. But I said, but I had this new app and it translates for me, and I would talk into it and say, hello, and it said, hello or whatever, or bonjour or whatever, and then I would say, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and it would translate it. And then, and I said, well, thank you again for stopping by and enjoy the show. And it would translate, in French. It said, the trial version of this app has expired. Please visit the App Store to upgrade.
That's great.
And then throughout the show, it would say endearing things into my phone. It would say the trial version of this app has expired.
But you did.
And I would bow and like, thank you so much. And so I turned it into this great gag that worked really well. And I've used it in other languages too. When I've got to perform in Germany or wherever, I just get it translated Italian or whatever. But it was one of those gags. I was like so happy that it worked. Like the first time I did it worked really well, and I was like, okay, this is
like,
something.
Oh, I found a thing.
Yeah, it's nice. Like I had these little gag I can use. But so I'm just trying to keep working hard and making stuff and trying to be original. And so far, that's been taking me amazing places, and hopefully that'll continue.
It's so good, man. So good.
Thanks.
What can people do to follow you, to see what's going on? And
I'm at flexiblecomedy.com or flexisexy.com. You can check out too. That's a site as well. Don't
go to Sexy Flexi. It's a very different website.
And if it's Flexi with a Y, there is a Flexi with an I that I also... It is very different. That is not me. You'll find out very quickly. So yeah,
it's a different kind of puppet show.
FLEXYSEXY.com. And yeah, so everything's on there, and so I'm trying to make more stuff for the internets and things, but as being a dad and being a traveling performer, it's so hard. I'm impressed that you're making this.
Oh,
is it every week that you're doing this?
Yeah, it's been every week for like 2 years, and then the last couple months it's been like every other week.
Okay,
but it's because I got some other projects I'm working on.
Sure,
keeping it going.
Great. I know it's important. I think it's good to have projects.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I started this when I didn't have much going on, and I was like, I need to do something so I don't go crazy.
Yeah, sure.
And then it's become one of my favorite things to do, man.
Nice. So. And have you felt like it's helped you, like, creatively?
It has been so good. I would say, because people always go, like, oh, how much you making money off the podcast? I'm like, no. Like, it has been the best thing I've done in the last several years.
Great.
Personally, relationally, mentally.
Awesome.
I mean, it's a very therapeutic thing just to know that you're not, we're not alone in this thing. That like you talk to somebody else and you go, oh, we're all dealing with the same stuff. And,
sure. Well, I listen to your podcast in the car or another podcast too, and it is that. And sometimes like you'll hear a story and you're like, oh yeah, the same thing happened to me, and or you'll hear how somebody dealt with a situation.
Yes.
I think I listened to Chipper Lowell, and he was talking about corporate. He had a corporate event.
Yep.
And he kind of didn't listen to the person who was putting it together, like the party planner or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he just invited everyone to move their chairs around the thing. Yeah. And I'm like, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
I am totally doing it. And I did it. I did it for an event I had that usually goes horribly. Yeah. And I turned it into like my own thing. And just,
isn't that great, man?
And I was just like, that is a great tip. And it's like I've never actually met Chipper. We're friends on Facebook, but
buddy.
And it was just like, okay, now, like, thank you. Like that was such a great tip that I will use forever.
Yeah, just these little gems, and it's good for us to remember. Like, we're a lot of times we're on stage, we're by ourselves, we're traveling, we're by ourselves, but we don't have to do life by ourselves.
Sure.
Like, so yeah,
for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for sharing your journey.
So happy to.
So good. All right, now we're gonna get off this, and I'm gonna ask you all those questions I have about spreadsheets and things.
Oh, nice. Excel.
It's getting real. All right, guys, go check out Jonathan's stuff. If you're listening to the show right now, go click on the show links, and I will put links there in the notes where you can go follow along.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
Bye.